his selection? Why did you feel like he was the perfect guy to add to your offense?
Yeah, I mean, he's big, strong, and fast. So that's a good way to start off as a player. A great work ethic that we love because we know all these players that are drafted, they're all talented, but once they get in this league, like it takes a lot of work to get to where you want to go and keep improving. So, he has some physical characteristics that we think he can add to our offense in a different role. Trying to give Justin and our whole offense and Kellen Moore a lot of different styles of players to use in different situations. So we think he can fit that.
Specifically, what does he do differently than the guys that you have currently in the receiver room that maybe gives you a little bit of a different element in the passing game?
We love his run after catch skills. He's a big receiver, but he's got really quick feet to change directions. So he can not only try and make somebody miss to gain yards, but also he's big and strong to pull through some tackles. So I think that's one element to our offense that we can add that would really help us. And skillful receivers on the out. This is a passing league. The more receivers we can have, the better for our quarterback, and we're happy to have him.
Adding on that, with Justin, how much do you keep him in the front of your mind or in the back of your mind? And it's never a bad idea to give him a weapon.
Yeah, we've drafted a tackle 2 years ago, a guard last year, and I said, those aren't the most exciting picks, but they were needed picks. You're always thinking about your quarterback. You're thinking about your offensive coordinator, our new offensive coordinator that's here. It's not that we're going to not look at the defensive side of the ball. Certainly as you're building your offense, we're building it around our franchise quarterback.
Are you surprised at all that the kind of run on receivers didn't start until right before your pick?
Kind of thought it would be in the back half of the round. That was kind of our prediction, I guess you could say.
Said that combine interview is what really impressed you guys. Just what stood out about that?
It went kind of well beyond a combine interview, but when you meet him, he just has a great, his work ethic just really stands out. Like you can tell, like he was raised the right way. He was a big recruit in high school in the state of Texas, which means a lot. He's a 3-sport player in high school, which you don't see very often, especially for such a high-level player. And then, played right away at TCU. We like guys that can come in and have a desire and drive to be great, and he has that, and he knows that. So, because you come in as a young player, especially him coming into our receiver room, that's it's really. I told him on the phone, it's a stacked group as it is right now. You're going to add to it, but we just love the makeup that he brings, his intangibles as well as his talent.
Some of the scouting reports are questioning his hands and said he had some drop issues. Is that anything you saw, or
I think his catch rate was about 89% in college. If we can get that like 2 or 3% higher, it'd be good, be great. So, but like I said, all these players coming in the league from the first pick to the 31st pick today, they all have something part of their game they got to work on. That's nothing new, we thought they're going to be just fine.
Gives you the confidence that that's like a correctable part of his game, the drops, because that sometimes can be something like
actually that was kind of a common theme with a lot of players in this year's draft. He's got big, strong hands. He can catch it. We've watched him catch it at TCU, so we're not overly concerned about it. It's something that he'll probably keep working on, but we can, when you're big and fast and strong, I think we're going to be okay.
Tom, how would you consider just the level of excitement in the draft room for how the first round played out with you guys getting Quentin?
Pretty good. I know our offensive coaches were really, really happy. They were ecstatic. So, opposite side of that, you got the defensive coaches waiting for tomorrow. So, there was a lot of excitement there, especially from the offensive coaches.
Any consideration to trading down, considering where you guys were at and how the board felt?
Yeah, I was on the phone with a couple different teams, and just nothing really worked out.
Some of the names that are still left at the end of day one.
You know what? I walked over here. I saw Nolan Smith just got taken, but I'm not even sure after we picked. I'll kind of reconvene tonight and see where we are.
To sort of Pop asked a little bit about it, but just in terms of, he seems very much like Mike Williams, maybe just a little smaller. How is he different How is he not Mike Williams, and what is he going to do?
First of all, that's not a bad thing because like Mike Williams is a really good player. So that we drafted him in the first round, and we're in. I don't look with Q, like he's 6'3", he's 210, he's explosive, he's fast, and he's strong. He'll bring his own element to our offense. But I wouldn't compare him to anybody yet. But if that's a comparison, it's a pretty good comparison. But he just made. We're trying to add some more explosive plays to our offense. It's never going to be just one thing you do. We brought Kellen Moore in. We think Kellen's offense is going to bring some more explosive with him. And then adding this receiver in the draft who had tons of explosive plays in college, both on long balls and on short passes. They took the distance, so I think he can add there.
He brings the speed that we constantly ask you about.
I hope so.
So the 4.51 at his pro day, you keep talking about how fast he is. So I guess how does his play speed on film compare to maybe like the raw testing numbers that we're looking at?
Yeah, we certainly look at 40 times. That's important. But we also look at 10 times acceleration, GPS tracking, and then this is explosive jumps, vertical and broad. So you kind of add all that up. You see what your eyes see on tape, and he can really get behind people. So.
You basically look at him as an outside receiver and an insider slot guy.
I think right now probably outside as a young player, but I wouldn't put a ceiling on it right now.
Was it always going to be receiver at this pick or offensive player at this pick? Because I know you mentioned the defensive coaches.
Yeah, no, I you don't go into the draft. Hey, look, this is the position we're going to take. We've never done that before, and we didn't do that today. So, as we got about 6-7 picks away, kind of saw what our group was with that pick. Do we want to trade out? Do we want to stay and pick? And I'm deciding to stay and pick because none of the trades really worked out for us. Kind of took it from there. But yeah, it wasn't like we went in saying, hey, that's the position we're going to take. I will say there were probably more offensive guys in this bottom half of the first round for us than defensive guys. It's just the way it worked out.
Is Quentin someone who you could see stepping into a starting role as a rookie?
I don't know. We'll see. He's got to earn it, but he also has, there's only so many balls to go around. We'll kind of see how it plays out.
Where is his route running at?
Not bad. Like all these guys, they're all going to get better as they go. He has explosive quickness to plant and cut. And then you kind of pair that with his size, and it really stands out. But, he can run, between short, intermediate, and deep routes. But he's got the ability to put his foot in the ground. Like his foot quickness really is really of a smaller receiver than a guy who's 6'3", 210, which you need to have. So we think he has that. Would have to work on a little bit more at this level, a little bit of savviness to kind of set some people up and break out of it. Because at the college level, he's so talented, he can either run away from you or just make one cut and separate. He'll start to learn to get a little more savviness to it at this level, and that takes years.
In the end, what pushed the receiver and Johnson maybe over since there were still tight ends on the board and everything?
Yeah, it was probably a better offensive group in the first round, at least how we had them than defense. Hard to say. There's a lot of people in this process between myself and Brandon, and then you've got all the assistant coaches. You have a huge scouting staff. We got directors, and then we have all the other information we have that goes into it: the character, the background, the medical, psychological testing. It's a lot that goes into this, trying to decide what player we think fits us the best. It's not an easy process. The goal is to be right more than we're wrong. But you kind of, my job is taking all that information from all those people and all the testing we do and try and figure out, okay, who's the best guy for us at this pick, and that's what we end up doing with Q.
Tom, we've seen the impression that Keenan has made on Josh Palmer. How beneficial do you think it's going to be for Quentin to come into this wide receivers room and kind of jumpstart his career?
It's going to be tremendous. You can watch what Josh went through. I think that's a really good comparison, what Josh went through from college to his first year as a pro. But to walk in a room with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, they can't get much better than that. And all, he's 21 years old. He's a young player, only, just 3 years in college. He isn't one of these, kids that played 5 or 6 years with the COVID rules. So he's still really young. He's got a lot of learning to do, especially at that position. But to step in and watch guys who have done it and done it at a high level that are really masters of their craft, I think it's really going to help them.
You talked earlier this week about the need at returner. Does he fit any of that? I know I asked him. He said he did a little
Yeah, I
bit of
don't
it
think
in
so.
practice, but not in the game. No.
What was the differences in his game maybe this past season with Riley and Dykes maybe compared to the film you watched in 20 and 21 on him?
Different offense, and then for the team around, I mean, they were loaded. It wasn't a surprise that they beat Michigan. I mean, they had a lot of big-time NFL players on the team. But a little bit different offense this year, and, he was the focal point of it in the passing game, and the quarterback did a great job getting the ball down the field to him. So, we'll watch him kind of continue to develop here.